In Sealed Monstas, you are a monstaology academic, creating hypotheses and testing them to earn the most recognition by publishing discoveries. If there's a specific aspect of the game you would like to learn about, there's timestamps in the video's description to get you there. To set up, place all tokens to the side of the play area. Sort the common Monstas, which have this symbol, into the 4 different types, and place these piles next to the play area as well. Have a score sheet and pen ready. Each player receives a playmat, as well as a player aid and publication leads card that they set next to their playmat. Make sure there is space for a card in the publications and leads area, plus some space for a small pile of tokens above the publications. Give the start player card to a random player. The remaining setup varies depending on whether the introductory or standard game is being played. If any player is playing for the first time, it is highly recommended that the introductory variant is played. The introductory game just alters the first round of the game, to show players how research works before they make their own hypotheses. Rounds 2 and 3 of the introductory game play just like a standard game. If you are playing the standard game, all that needs to be done is selecting realms that will be introduced each round. Realms are sets of 52 cards that often share some mechanics. You can tell the realm a card is from by looking at the icon in the top right-hand corner. Randomly choose 2 realms to be introduced in round 1, a realm to be introduced in round 2, and a realm to be introduced in round 3. Set these realms aside, and you're ready to start the standard game. Alternatively, if you're playing the introductory game, the Twilight realm should be set aside to be introduced in round 2, and the Condensed realm should be set aside to be introduced in round 3. No realms will be set aside for round 1. Instead, each player needs to receive a deck composed of the 14 cards you see on screen now. 11 of these cards come from the Origin realm, with the remaining 3 coming from common Monstas that were placed next to the play area earlier. You are now set up to play the introductory game. Your goal in Sealed Monstas is to earn the most recognition by publishing discoveries. There are 3 different types of discoveries represented by these symbols. You'll also see this symbol in the game, which is used when talking about discoveries of any of the types. Every discovery you publish will score you 2 recognition at the end of the game, regardless of its type. This means in general, every round you are trying to maximize the discoveries you publish. In addition to the 2 recognition every discovery provides at the end of the game, you may receive bonus recognition for specific types of discoveries at the end of each round. How the different types of discoveries score bonus recognition will be covered later in the published section of the video. The game consists of 3 rounds with 3 phases. Those phases are the hypothesis phase, where you select the 14 cards that will be in your deck for the round, the research phase, where you document Monstas so you can publish their discoveries, and the publish phase, where you may score bonus recognition for certain types of documented discoveries. Then, move everything you have documented to your publications so they can be scored at the end of the game. Every round starts with the hypothesis phase. However, in the first round of the introductory game, this phase is skipped, so this video will cover the hypothesis phase last. During the research phase, players try to add as many discoveries to their paper as possible, using the 14 card deck they created in the hypothesis phase. In the first round of the introductory game, this will be the deck of cards you receive during setup. Note that the game comes with a research phase tutorial. Playing through this tutorial is another great way of learning the workings of the research phase. The tutorial will be run through at the end of this video. At the beginning of the research phase, players must shuffle their deck of 14 cards and place it face down on their deadline space. Then, all players draw 3 cards from their deck. Starting with the player holding the start player card, and continuing in turns in clockwise order, players will take research turns until all players have reached their deadline and finished the research phase. A player's turn consists of 5 steps. They will run through all 5 of these steps before the next player's turn starts. In the redraw step, you may optionally shuffle your hand into your deck. Then draw the same number of cards as you shuffled in. If you do, you add a redraw token to your paper, which will score -2 points at the end of the game, but it may be worth it if you could get a better hand with a different set of cards. You may only redraw once per turn, and you may only do it during this step. In the reference step, you may play any number of cards with ref abilities to gain their effects. To do so, move a card that has a ref ability from your hand to your reference area, then resolve its effects. Effects in Sealed Monstas are always resolved as much as possible. After resolving as much as possible of a ref effect, you may play another card with a ref ability, possibly even one you drew with a previous effect. Playing cards with ref abilities is not mandatory, but this is the only step of the turn in which they may be played. A player then proceeds to the document step, where they may add Monstas to their paper. Monstas in your paper will be published at the end of the round, so documenting Monstas with discoveries on them is the primary way of earning recognition. By default, you may document a single Monsta each turn, but this may be increased by other effects. To document a Monsta, move it from your hand to your paper. Any Monsta may be documented, but if you document a Monsta with a dock ability, you also get its effects. As with ref abilities, resolve as much as possible of the dock effect before documenting additional Monstas, if something is allowing you to document more than one. After you have documented all Monstas you can or wish to, proceed to the discard step, where you discard all cards in your reference area and all cards remaining in your hand. Finally, in the refill step, you refill your hand for the next turn. By default, you draw 3 cards from your deck during this step, but this may be increased or decreased by effects you have resolved during this turn. When you finish refilling your hand, you have finished your turn and play proceeds to the next player in clockwise order. A few common effects in the game are represented by icons, which will be covered now. This icon indicates you may document an additional Monsta during the document step of your turn. Importantly, if you have resolved this icon during the reference step, you still wait until the document step to document the additional Monsta. This icon indicates that you immediately draw the indicated number of cards from your deck into your hand. This icon alters the number of cards you'd redraw during your redraw step at the end of your turn. It should be stressed that all effects only apply to the turn they were resolved. A Wizent added to your paper will only reduce your refill amount on the turn it was played. A plus with a discovery icon indicates to add a matching token from the supply to the specified location. Note that Monstas use first-person pronouns to refer to themselves, so in this case, a blue fundamental discovery is being added to Bleo. Monstas have a limited number of empty token spots. If a Monsta ever has more tokens than empty spots, return tokens to the supply until there is no excess. The icon showing all discovery types works similarly. It adds a token to the specified location, but in this case, the player activating the effect chooses which type of token will be added. A legend for these icons is provided on the back of the rulebook for easy reference. As you take turns during the research phase, your deck will deplete. When the last card of your deck is drawn, your deadline is revealed. Once your deadline is revealed, you can no longer move cards back to your deck, and your research phase will end the next time you end the discard card step of your turn. This means if you draw your last card during the refill card step, you get one more turn before your research phase ends. But if the last card was drawn due to a ref or dock effect, your current turn is your last turn. Skip the turn of players who have ended their research phase while others complete the research phase. Once the last player ends their research phase, they are given the start player card. Then proceed to the publish phase. In the publish phase, players score bonus recognition for the types of discoveries in their paper. Then they move cards and tokens in their paper to their publications, so they can score them at the end of the game. Orange novel discoveries can score a significant amount of bonus recognition, but only if you have the blue fundamental discoveries to back them up. Everyone checks how many blue fundamental discoveries they have. If there is a single player with the most, as in there is no tie, that player scores 2 bonus recognition for each orange novel discovery in their paper. Record these points on the score sheet. Then, all players that have the fewest blue fundamental discoveries mark that they score 0 for their orange discoveries on the score sheet. In the case where all players are tied, that means all players score 0 recognition. Finally, all players who have not scored recognition for orange novel discoveries yet, as in they neither had the most or least blue fundamental discoveries, score 1 recognition per orange novel discovery in their paper. Pink popular discoveries always score a single bonus recognition. Record these points on the score sheet. After scoring bonus recognition, you must move all tokens and cards in your paper to your publications, so their discoveries can be scored at the end of the game. Make a pile for your published tokens just above your published cards. Cards that were in any other location, such as your discard, now move to your leads. Now, if it is the first or second round, start the next round. If it is the third round, proceed to end game scoring. The hypothesis phase that is typically played at the start of each round will now be explained. The hypothesis phase is only skipped in the first round of the introductory game. You need to play this phase in the second and third round, and in all rounds if you are playing the standard game. In the hypothesis phase, players will receive new cards, then choose the 14 cards that will be their deck in the research phase. First, grab the realm that was set aside for this round. make sure all players understand any additional rules it introduces on its Realm info card. These rules will be in effect for the remainder of the game. Then, shuffle the 52 Monsta cards from that realm and deal 13 to each player, into their leads. Note that if it is the first round of the standard game, there are 2 realms and players will receive 13 cards from each. After receiving cards, you choose which 14 cards will be your deck for the research phase. You may include any combination of cards in your leads, those being cards you did not publish on a previous round, and the 13 cards you were dealt from the realm that was just introduced. You may also include common Monstas that were set to the side of the play area during setup, as part of the 14 cards. Once all players have their 14 card deck ready, proceed to the research phase, which was covered earlier in this video. Your unselected cards remain in your leads for future rounds. After completing 3 rounds, the game ends. Look through your publications and score 2 recognition for every discovery in it, both printed on published Monstas and from published tokens. Score -2 recognition for each redraw token in your publications. Add these recognition to the bonus recognition you scored during the published phases of the game. The player with the most total recognition wins. That covers everything you need to know to play sealed Monstas. There's a section of reminders and clarifications at the back of the rulebook that may be helpful to read through before starting the game. The remainder of this video walks through the research tutorial included in the game. You can watch this section to see some examples of research turns, or follow along yourself. If you are following along, you will need to order your 14 card deck you received during the introductory game setup as follows: Galasher, Untooth, Kroiklutz, Wizant, Bleo, all 3 Sapelkey, then a Chrysiper. The order of the remaining 5 cards does not matter. To start the research phase, all players draw 3 cards. Play begins with the player holding the start player card. Step 1 of a research turn gives you the option to redraw your hand to get different cards at the penalty of 2 recognition. Typically, you'd probably redraw a hand like this, but for the purposes of this tutorial, you will opt to skip redrawing this turn. In Step 2, you may play any number of cards with ref abilities to gain their effects. You don't have any of those in your hand, so you won't do anything in this step this turn. In Step 3, you may document a single monster from your hand into your paper. This will allow you to score recognition for its discoveries, both at the end of the round and at the end of the game. The monsters currently in your hand all provide the same amount of discoveries, just different types. Given it is only the first turn, we don't know which discovery type will be most important for you to document, so any of these monsters are a reasonable choice to add to your paper. Kroiklutz will be documented in the video, but feel free to document whichever one you like. In Step 4, you must discard all cards in your reference area and any cards remaining in your hand. In Step 5, you refill your hand for your next turn. The default refill amount is 3, so draw 3 cards. That completes your first turn. Now all other players should be doing the same, playing their first turn in turn order before you start your second. On your second turn, you have a great hand, so we'll skip redrawing again. In Step 2, play Sapelkey, moving it to your reference area to activate its ability. Its ability will let you move Bleo to the top of your deck. In Step 3, document Wizant. Wizant has a dock ability, which activates when you document it. Its ability reduces the number of cards you refill your hand with at the end of the turn. You managed to get all the cards out of your hand, so in Step 4, all you do is discard the Sapelkey in your reference area. Your refill amount was reduced by 2 due to Wizant's ability this turn, so you only draw 1 card in Step 5. That completes your second turn. Other players now do the same, taking their second turn in turn order. On turn 3, you once again have a great hand, so we will skip redrawing. You have no ref abilities, so you will do nothing in Step 2. In Step 3, document Bleo. When its dock ability activates, you have 0 cards in hand, so you add a fundamental token to it. In Step 4, you have nothing to discard. Adding 3 discoveries to your paper without discarding anything makes for a very efficient turn. Nothing affected your refill amount this turn, so draw the default amount of 3. That completes your third turn. Other players now do the same in turn order. Oh no! For your fourth turn, all monsters in your hand only provide a single discovery and none of them have a dock ability. While you can document any monster, lacking dock abilities and discoveries makes these monsters less desirable to document. You would do better if you had any other card from your deck to document. This is a good time to opt to redraw in Step 1. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw the same number as you shuffled in, 3 in this case. Take a redraw token and place it in your paper. It will be worth -2 recognition at the end of the game. Now that you have a random hand of cards, this is as far as the tutorial can take you. Finish the research phase with what you have learned.